You want drama? We have major drama in Major League Baseball with 3 teams vying for 2 wild card spots in the National League. The Mets did their part, picking up a 5-0 win over the Brewers Sunday. Now, all they have to do is beat the Braves once in Monday's doubleheader, and a spot in the postseason will be theirs. And hey, October baseball is just around the corner. Tuesday, we turn the calendar to October, and the 2024 MLB postseason begins. And for more, welcoming in CBS Sports lead MLB analyst Jim Bowden. And Jim, let's start with this wild card madness in the National League. The Mets and the Braves will be playing a doubleheader Monday in Atlanta following a pair of rainouts earlier in the week. A split and both teams get in, a sweep by either, and the Diamondbacks are in with a losing team eliminated. How do you see this playing out?
Well, I think it's really unique. We've never seen a situation like this before, because think of it this way. Whoever wins the first game is in the playoffs. So they're going to rest everybody in game 2 of that doubleheader. So you want to win the first game. Now, if you're the Braves, though, you're going to probably pitch Schellenbacher in game 1, because you're hoping if you win game 1, then you can save Chris Sale for your first game of the wild card round, right? But if you lose the first round, then you got to burn Chris Sale in the second game of the doubleheader. So both teams are going to want to win that first game. Now, the second game, the other team's going to have a really good chance of winning, because they're going to want to rest all their players to get ready to play the wild card series. So it's absolutely amazing to think about this thing. And then Arizona all has to go to the ballpark tomorrow, and they're going to be sitting there watching these games on TV, because if, in fact, one of these teams sweeps, they'll be getting on a plane and getting ready to play the San Diego Padres. So, look, we have a lot of drama coming on tomorrow. We've never had this scenario before. This is the first year we're not going to have a game 163, but who cares when we're going to have the drama that we're going to see tomorrow of games 161 and 162.
So much drama as the season winds down. But if you are a member of this Mets or Braves front office, what's your confidence level like going into Monday?
Oh, you're nervous. There's no question about it. And look, you don't want to play the day before your first wild card game, but you want to get in, and that's what matters. So, you know, there's no doubt that Alex Anthopoulos, the president of the Braves, manager Brian Snitker, they're going to talk their strategy. They're going to do everything they can to win game 1, but at the very least, split the doubleheader, and they're a playoff team. But again, you also want to be well positioned when you get to the wild card round. So that's why that first game is so important, Madeline.
You mentioned the strategy in here, obviously wanting to win the first game, and the second game likely probably going to the other one. But if there is a sweep, you know, we got to consider the reigning NL champion Diamondbacks. They get the big win over the Padres to stay alive on Sunday for a wild card spot. But if you're in charge of the Diamondbacks, you know, you're kind of sitting there not in control of your own destiny. What are your emotions right now?
Yeah, look, there's nothing you can do except bring all your team into the clubhouse, everybody watch the games on TV, and hope there's a sweep. And if there is, you're prepared. I mean, you can't sit there and wait until after the sweep to prepare. You have to set your rotation ready. You've got to be thinking about the lineups. You're going to have to be thinking about your matchups. You got to hope that there's a sweep. You can't control it, but you have to be prepared just in case you get on that airplane and fly to San Diego to play the Padres.
Hey, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. But elsewhere on Sunday, Luis Arraez clinched another batting title, his 3rd straight with 3 different teams. Can you just put into perspective what he's been able to do?
Oh, it's incredible. We've never seen it happen in the history of baseball. Nobody has ever won 3 straight batting titles, so I think that speaks volumes. You know, he doesn't do a lot of slug. He doesn't do a lot of damage, but to be able to put the ball in play as much as he does is amazing. You know, it's almost like he has a tennis racket playing with a baseball, right? When he gets to the plate, if you'll notice, the first thing he does is he checks where all the infielders are and literally just tries to hit the ball where they're not. He's been so successful at it, and to be able to do it for the Twins, and then to do it for the Marlins, and then get traded to the Padres and do it here, it's historic is the best way to word it. He's been a game changer for this Padres lineup. To be able to create that kind of traffic at the top of the lineup for guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado to drive them in has really helped propel this offense. And the Padres are going to be a real World Series threat this October.
Well, and Jim, you said it, Arraez doing it with 3 different teams is historic. Watching the success that he's had in all these different locations, is he putting together a Hall of Fame resume?
I don't think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame conversation, to be honest, but he's certainly going to be always compared to guys like Wade Boggs and Rod Carew, and to some degree Tony Gwynn, who is a Hall of Famer. This is a guy that, you know, can hit, and he puts the ball in play. I'm not sure you're ever going to see him get to the Hall, because I don't think the lack of power and run production that he brings, I think probably will prevent him from getting there, but it certainly has been an historic, very impressive run for what he does.
Impressive run indeed. Now, obviously, there's a lot still to sort out in the National League, but we do know the following for sure. The Dodgers are the 1 seed, the Phillies are the 2, the Brewers are the 3 seed. So, Jim, if you're to pick right now who you believe will win the NL pennant, who are you taking?
You know, Madeline, I'm going to take the Phillies, and I'm going to take them over the Padres. And I know a lot of people are going to say, yes, but the Dodgers have the best record in baseball. First of all, I think we all learned last year the way this new postseason is structured. Anybody can win, right? Last year we had 2 wild card teams in the World Series, including the team with the least regular season wins, Arizona, who had 84 wins, made it all the way to the World Series. But I think when you break down these teams, the big question with the Dodgers is the starting pitching, right? There's no Tyler Glasnow on the mound. Clayton Kershaw's been injured. There's no Tony Gonsolin. There's no Dustin May. Bobby Miller has been ineffective. Walker Buehler hasn't been the same coming back from Tommy John. So you've got Yoshinobu Yamamoto that you can count on for sure. And then there's some question marks here. And I think Dave Roberts, the manager's done a great job to win 98 games with all the injuries they've had. But I question if they're going to be able to get back to the World Series. So I like the Phillies and Padres meeting in the League Championship Series. But if I have to pick one, I'm going to pick the Phillies, because I think their starting pitching 1 to 5 is the best in the National League. They have the experience. They've got a great clubhouse as well. I think if they end up playing the Padres in the NLCS, it'll go probably 7 games. But I'm going to take the Phillies getting to the World Series.
I like it. All right, Jim, meanwhile, in the American League, the wild card matchups are set. It'll be the Royals and the Orioles squaring off in one series. The winner there will advance to face the Yankees in the 6-3 matchup. It'll be the Astros facing the Tigers, with the winning team earning a matchup against the Guardians. And as we discuss the AL playoff picture here, back with CBS Sports lead MLB analyst Jim Bowden. Jim, of course, Tigers wrapped up a wild card spot in the playoffs with a win over the White Sox Friday night. Sunday, the seeding comes into focus. We see this series coming into play. What are you looking for in this series?
Well, this is going to be a fun series. I mean, A.J. Hinch, who won a world championship managing the Astros, gets to bring the Tigers into Houston to play the Astros. I know that'll be fun with him. Remember, he got fired by the Astros after he was suspended a few years back, and now he takes the Tigers and gets to play them again. So I know it'll be an emotional time for him, and he's going to be able to start Tariq Skubal in Game 1. I talked to Scott Harris, the president of the team, earlier today. He told me, no surprise, that Skubal will pitch that first game. Undecided what they're going to do in Games 2 and after that. But Skubal is the best pitcher in baseball this year. He's going to win the Cy Young Award in the American League. That gives them a chance to win that first game. Now, I just talked to the Astros. They told me Framber Valdez will pitch Game 1. Hunter Brown, Game 2. Yusei Kikuchi will go Game 3 for them. I think the Astros are the best wild card team in the American League, but I do think the Tigers could push this series to 3 just because they do have Tariq Skubal, who's capable of beating them and making it a series.
Now, we turn our attention here, too, because this will be a great series. Another one that we've got our eye on is the Royals and the Orioles. Jim, where are you focusing in that series?
Yeah, look, this is going to be a really good series, too. The Kansas City Royals strike out the least of any team in baseball. And that's significant when you get to the postseason. When you put the ball in play in the postseason, it matters. They're a very fundamentally sound team. They were 6th in the league in both ERA and runs scored. Now, they had a critical injury at the end of August to first baseman Vinny Pasquantino. However, I talked to their manager, Matt Quintero, earlier today, who told me there is a chance that Pasquantino will play in Game 1. So he hit on Saturday on the field. He was going to hit again today. If all goes well, there's a chance he returns to the lineup. Why do I bring that up? Because when he, Bobby Witt Jr., and Salvador Perez are all in the middle of the lineup, Kansas City's lineup is scary, especially in one-run games, because they move the chains by not striking out. And remember, their pitching staff also extremely tough. Now, Porchero told me earlier today, Cole Reagans will pitch game 1. Seth Lugo will pitch game 2. Michael Wacha will pitch game 3. So that's the rotation that the Royals are going to throw out there. That rotation's capable of upsetting Baltimore. Now, Baltimore really collapsed over the last month, but 5 of the last 7 games they've won, so a little bit better down the stretch. And Corbin Burns will start the first game of this series. Zach Eflin will start the second game. I'm going to take the Orioles over Kansas City, but I think it'll go the full 3 games.
I like it. All right, well, the American League playoff picture fully set, fully in focus. So, Jim, who is your pick to win the AL pennant this year?
Look, I think it's a crapshoot, to be honest. I really do. I think the Guardians are capable of winning this thing. Hard to go against the Astros, who have been to 8 consecutive postseasons. But I'm going to go chalk. I'm going to go with the New York Yankees here. I feel like Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and Garrett Cole, the superstars of the Yankees, are going to be able to lead them back to the World Series. This is the best Yankee team under manager Aaron Boone, who's the winningest manager right now in New York Yankee history. I do think there's some issues. First base with Anthony Rizzo with his fracture of his fingers. How much production will they get from that position? How much production will they get from Verdugo and Dominguez in left field? Worried about that. Worried a little bit about their bullpen depth. But every team has their flaws. I do think the Yankees are the best team in the American League, so I'll go chalk, and I'll go with New York.
Chalk is always a safe bet, right? CBS Sports lead MLB analyst Jim Bowden, thanks so much for the insight. As we mentioned, Jim's chalk pick, the Yankees plus 170 to win the American League. The Orioles plus 480, the Astros, Guardians, Royals, Tigers. So we take a look at the odds on the board here. We'll see how it all plays out as the MLB postseason. October baseball begins Tuesday, October 1st, just around the corner.